This is Michael Hammer, the presiding officer. Are all the parties who intend to appear by telephone on the line?
This is Michael Dover with Kelly Dry and Warren on behalf of Q-Link Wireless. I'm on, and we expect Isa Assad, the CEO of Q-Link Wireless, to also be participating via telephone. Isa, are you there?
Let's give him just 1 minute before we go on the record then.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and go on the record, please. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the time and place noticed for hearing in the matter of the petition to amend Q-Link Wireless LLC's designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier to participate in the Utah Universal Service Fund. That's Commission Docket number 18-2549-02. My name is Michael Hammer, and I'm the Commission's designated presiding officer for this hearing. With that, let's go ahead and take appearances, please, beginning with the applicant.
On behalf of applicant Q-Link Wireless LLC, Michael R. Dover of the law firm Kelly Dry and Warren LLP. Also appearing with me telephonically is the CEO of Q-Link Wireless LLC, Isa Assad.
Good afternoon. I'm Justin Jetter with the Utah Attorney General's Office, and I'm here today representing the Utah Division of Public Utilities. With me at the council table here in the hearing room is Casey Coleman with the division.
Robert Moore with the Attorney General's Office, representing the Office of Consumer Services. With me is Cheryl Murray from the office.
Thank you, everyone. Let me ask before we begin, are there any preliminary matters we need to address?
None from the division.
None from the office.
None from applicant, Your Honor.
Thank you, then. Mr. Dover, please go ahead with your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Isa Assad.
Mr. Assad, do you swear? Well, let me ask the other parties first. Is there any objection to Mr. Assad testifying by telephone?
There's no objection from the division.
No objection.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Assad, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Assad, please state and spell your name for the record.
Isa Assad.
And could you spell your name for the record?
ISSAASAD.
Thank you. And are you employed by Q-Link Wireless LLC, the applicant in these proceedings?
Yes, I am.
And what is your position at Q-Link?
CEO.
Thank you. And is Q-Link currently designated by the Commission to provide federally supported low-income lifeline services in Utah?
Yes, sir, it is.
And do you know approximately when Q-Link became designated to provide those services in Utah?
Since December 2012.
Thank you. Are you familiar with Q-Link's petition to amend its designation to participate in the Utah Universal Service Fund?
Yes, I am.
And approximately when was that petition submitted?
The petition was submitted around May 23rd, 2018.
Thank you. Did you review and verify that petition?
Yes, I did.
And have you reviewed the, strike that, I apologize. Are there any corrections to the petition that you'd like to make at this time?
Yes, there is.
Thank you. Could you turn to page 8 of the petition and describe for everybody the change you'd like to make in the petition, please?
Halfway down the page where it says bundled plan, instead of 1,000 minutes and 1 gig of data, it should be unlimited anytime minutes per month.
Thank
And
you.
the rest remains the same.
Thank you. And is the remainder of the petition true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Did you also provide written direct testimony in support of Q-Link's petition to amend its ETC designation?
Yes, I did.
Approximately when was that testimony submitted in these proceedings?
June 22nd, 2018.
Thank you. And are there any corrections to the testimony that you'd like to make today?
No, sir.
Does that written testimony provide a description of the rate offerings proposed by Q-Link if it's accepted to participate in the Universal Service Fund in Utah?
Yes, it does.
Can you turn to page 7 of that written testimony?
7 or 11?
Page 7.
Okay.
Briefly describe for everyone the proposed rate offerings Q-Link is proposing if it's accepted as a participant for the state Utah Universal Service Fund.
The proposed offering is a bundled plan, which includes...
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you for one
unlimited
Mr. Assad, 1 second, please.
Yes,
Our court reporter needs a clarification on some testimony.
Well, actually, it was the
Question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, briefly describe for everyone the proposed rate offerings Q-Link is proposing if, and then it was kind of breaking up. I didn't hear it all.
Did you hear the question, Mr. Dover?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Sorry, you didn't hear me. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Dover. This is the court reporter, and I only heard part of your question, and the other part kind of broke up, and I wasn't sure I heard it right. I've got briefly described for everyone the proposed rate offerings Q-Link is proposing, if excessive.
If accepted to participate in the Utah State Universal Service Fund.
Thank you.
Please go ahead with your answer.
Did that
then.
answer your question?
It did, yes. Yeah. And I'm ready for the answer.
Go ahead, Mr. Assad.
The plan offering that Q-Link Wireless plans on offering in the state of Utah is unlimited minutes and 1 gig of data, unlimited text and picture messaging. That's it.
Thank you. And can you briefly describe for everyone here how Q-Link participation in the Utah Universal Service Fund would advance the public interest for Utah consumers?
Obviously, in an increasing market of, in a market where there is other providers, it would be the interest of the Utah consumers for Q-Link to offer an increased customer choice, and the customer will be allowed more supported services if Q-Link was allowed to participate in the program.
I'm sorry, and fewer. Sorry, Mr. Assad.
Thank you.
And fewer. It just broke up.
If Q-Link
Okay.
would be allowed to receive additional supported services.
Okay. Thank you.
And in turn, Q-Link would offer additional consumer choice.
And does your written direct testimony provide a greater description of public interest for Utah consumers at page 11?
Yes, sir, it does.
And with regard to all of the questions in your written direct testimony, are they true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
If I were to ask you the questions contained in your written direct testimony, would you provide those same responses as you sit here today?
Yes, sir, I would.
Thank you. Lastly, did Q-Link enter into a stipulation and settlement agreement? Utah Division of Public Utilities and the Utah Office of Consumer Services?
Yes, we did.
Approximately when was that?
A couple weeks ago, October 4th, 2018.
Have you reviewed this stipulation and settlement agreement?
Yes, I have.
Does Q-Link intend to abide by the terms of the stipulation and settlement agreement?
Yes, Q-Link does.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I'd ask for the admission of the petition and Mr. Assad's written testimony, exhibit evidence in support of its Q-Link petition for expanded designation. And I would turn over the witness at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
They're admitted. And Mr. Jetter, any cross-examination?
I have no questions for the division. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dover, no other witnesses?
No, I have no other witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Jetter?
Thank you, Your Honor. The division would like to call and have sworn in Casey Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Coleman, would you please state your name and occupation for the record?
My name's Casey J. Coleman. I'm a utility technical consultant for the Division of Public Utilities.
Thank you. And in the course of your employment with the Division of Public Utilities, have you had an opportunity to review the application and testimony filed by the applicant in this docket, along with the other filings in this docket?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the settlement stipulation that was filed in this docket?
Yes.
And in light of the testimony that's been given today, as well as the prior filings in this docket, do you believe that approval of the application by the terms of the stipulation and settlement agreement would be just, reasonable, and in the public interest?
Yes.
And finally, are you aware of any public outside of the division that has offered any comments or anything like that to the division that would oppose approval of this application?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions for Mr. Coleman. He's available for cross.
Mr. Dover, any questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore?
No questions.
All right. Mr. Jetter, any other witnesses?
No more witnesses for the division. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moore?
The office would call and have sworn in Cheryl Murphy.
Ms. Murray, do you swear? Ms. Murray, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and title.
My name is Cheryl Murray. I'm a utility analyst with the Office of Consumer Services.
Have you reviewed the applicant's filing and testimony presented in this docket?
Yes, I have.
Have you reviewed all of the documents that have been filed in this docket?
Yes, I have.
Did you participate in the discussions that led to the stipulation that is before the commission today?
Yes, I did. The office believes that Q-Link Wireless meets the requirements to qualify for Utah Universal Service Funds, and the office is a party to the stipulation.
Do you have any additional comments?
Yes. As a condition of signing the stipulation, the office required the inclusion of various elements that are important to achieving the public interest. For example, use of a Utah-specific fact sheet that provides customers information about the services they will receive, a commitment that Q-Link Wireless will comply with all state service quality and consumer protection requirements, acknowledgement that approval of the application is conditioned upon payment of all applicable state and local regulatory fees to which they are subject. Q-Link Wireless agreed to these and other conditions, and they are included in the stipulation. As the Commission is aware, the FCC requirement regarding the provision of broadband changes on December 1, 2018 from 1 gigabyte to 2 gigabytes. Under the terms of the stipulation, Q-Link will make that change on December 1 and provide notice to the Commission, Office, and Division. In conclusion, the office believes that the stipulation is just and reasonable in result and in the public interest, and recommends that the Commission approve it. That concludes my testimony.
Ms. Murray is available for questioning.
Mr. Dover, any questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Jetter?
And I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Moore, no other witnesses?
No other witnesses.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Is there anything else before we adjourn?
Just very briefly from the division, I'd just like to say thank you to the parties and the commission for accommodating our schedule changes in this docket.
It was our pleasure. If there's nothing else, we're adjourned. Thank you.